I read Chainsaw Man in one sitting. Like, I was in too deep from the get-go.
Hello everybody, my name is the Amanda Rogers and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is going to be the first episode of a new series called Fandom Friends. So with me today is my friend Kai, or Kylmars, you might know her as
Hello.
on the internet. Hello, love.
Hello, hello. I'm so excited.
I'm so happy that you agreed to be here with me today. So thank you for that. The first thing I need to know is, what is like the nerdiest thing about you? Or what was the point in your life where you're like, oh, I am such a nerd. This is it.
Okay, this is going way back to like Tumblr, internet culture. Super Hulock was kind of my villain origin story. I started reading fan fiction thanks to my friend since first grade. She was like, oh my god, look at this site, and it was fanfiction.net, and then we found AO3 and we never went back. AO3 is peak fanfiction.
It absolutely is.
It's like the wine and cheese of fanfiction. It's fantastic. But I really kind of like got into fandom during the Tumblr Super Hulock era, which I think is very funny to say because a lot of people, like, if they know, they know. Yeah, it was a time. Oh yeah.
It was a time. I was definitely there. I was like on the outskirts of the Super Hulock fandom. I feel I was definitely on Tumblr during that time though.
I was in high school. I was too afraid to like have a Tumblr, but I was on Tumblr every freaking day.
Oh yeah.
Just like deep in Super Hulock bullshit.
I feel like a lot of people, like, that is the origin, like in our space now, a lot of people were in that space too.
Oh, it's so funny. It was either like Super Hulock or they were One Direction like stan accounts.
That was me.
Were you?
I was on the One Direction, but I was like skirting into the Super Hulock stuff. Yeah.
I had that like deep rooted, I'm not like other girls, so I was like, I don't like One Direction. I read so much One Direction fanfic.
That's where my fanfics origin story started as well. It was Tumblr 1D fanfics. I read so many.
I will never forget being in high school. I think it was my sophomore or junior year, and like 50 Shades of Grey became like the it book. And everyone's like, it's stupid. And they all started reading it and they're like, wow, like, ooh, like sexy book. And I couldn't get past the first like chapter because I was like, I've read better fan fiction than this.
I remember specifically that movie, it was like 365 Days came out on Netflix, and it was so, everyone was like, it's so explicit and everything like that. And I was like, I like watched it. I was like, I mean, it is for like a movie, but I was like,
yeah.
You guys have never read a lemon, have you?
I distinctly remember watching 365 Days as well and being like, it was a movie. I've read worse. I don't want to admit that, but like everyone was losing their shit over 365 Days, and they're like, oh my god. And I'm like, honestly, this is kind of like
tame.
Yeah, I was like, this is kind of like meh. Like, I don't like the fact that he fucking kidnapped her. Like, that was like the biggest like ooh for me. And like, yeah, I'm like, nah.
Yeah, I'm like, I've read worse. I've read better. I'm just like, yeah,
literally.
So I think I know the answer, but what is like your current brain rot or the thing that you're hyper fixating on right now?
Oh, you mean the thing I've been dedicating my heart and soul to for like over a year? Well, there's two. Because I'm wearing a Jujutsu Kaisen shirt right now.
Yes.
I'm going to start with Jujutsu Kaisen because I love Jujutsu Kaisen, and that's big on the brain rot mind. But we all know it's Chainsaw Man. Because I've fallen down a hole and I'm not coming out.
You're taking us all down with you.
And I 100% am taking every single one of you down with me. I do not care. You are all going to cry with me through every chapter.
I'm so close to reading it because of you. Like, I'm pretty I know like
sorry.
everything.
You haven't read it yet?
I know.
I'm leaving.
No. Just like, cut the cameras.
Okay.
Just saying.
Done.
It's mostly because of you. Like,
You should read
and
it.
especially when we went to Anime Central and your Makima, I was like,
thank you.
I need to know everything that's happening. But my issue is that I that's how I am. I'm like, I need to know everything. So
Yeah.
I know I'm going to binge everything and then just become hyper fixated on it as well. And I have so many hyper fixations.
That is very true. You are like hyperfixation royalty. I just had a friend who read Chainsaw Man and they like texted me updates. And I know when someone's gonna hit like the part. And they're like, I'm like, oh, what part are you at? And they're like, oh, I'm on chapter this and this. And like seconds later, I will get like a text in all caps, like, why the fuck are you making me read this? And I'm like, keep going. We're trauma bonding right now. I read Chainsaw Man in one sitting. Like I was in too deep from the get-go. In Attack on Titan, I was following the leaks because there were so many spoilers on my timeline and my feed that I was like, fuck it, I'll stay caught up all the way to the leaks because I'm going to see it anyway. So I had finished the final chapter of Attack on Titan on a leak. And I was like devastated. And I was like, okay, I heard about this like manga. It's called Chainsaw Man. It's full of guts and gore. I love dark, fucked up shit. It's going to be great. It's going to be all about just killing things. It's going to be camp. I should have taken a break. I was wiping away tears as I was reading a chapter so I could see the page. I was like, literally looking back, I'm like, you are so stupid. You are so stupid. You could have put the book down. But I loved it so much, I was like, I have to see it through.
And I know that's not the only manga that you've binge read.
I did binge read Jujutsu Kaisen. You can tell Chainsaw Man's still on my mind. I binge read Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer on a road trip last summer, actually. Because
I remember you doing that.
After the Demon Slayer movie, I was like, I told myself I was going to be anime only for Demon Slayer. I was like, oh, I love the animation. I'm only going to read the animation. First of all, the manga art's fantastic. Like stunning. And I was like, I have to know what happens. So I sat, because we drove to Florida and we were going like camping. And I sat in the passenger seat and read the entirety of Jujutsu Kaisen that was out so far and Demon Slayer. And at one point in time, I got to like, more of like the tougher parts. And I'm like trying to like keep it all in. And my dad's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I can't even talk to you about it because my dad's an anime only for Demon Slayer. So I can't spoil. I can't be like, oh yeah, this is what's happening right now. And then like destroy the entire story for him.
Like every now and then you need someone who just does not care. So you can just like, okay, let me just let it out.
Yeah, let me tell you all about like the lore. I told my sister all of the lore of Shoto and Dabi because she doesn't care. She doesn't care, and I needed to break it down for someone. I was like, this is what I need to tell you right now. And I told it to her like it was some like hot gossip, and she's like, honestly, this was very interesting.
So you as a creator, honestly, I have to say, since we got introduced like over a year ago now. Oh
no.
I've been able to witness you growing as a creator, and it's been marvelous, I have to say. The way that you play with your content, your transitions, the composition of your videos, and like the way that you even play with lighting and stuff like that is phenomenal. And then you also balance it out. Listen, I could go on and on and on about you. I love you so much. The way that you also balance out like you being in character for like your cosplays and stuff and being true to that character with also the comedy and your humor that you bring into it is just, it's so phenomenal to me. Like I love seeing it. I admire it so much. I admire you as a creator. I know, I'm like, all right.
Like I could go on forever too. Like literally, like I don't think like a lot of people realize that like the content creators I'm like I follow and like I'm mutuals and friends with, like you all inspire me too. Like your ability to like create like these like intricate multi-step skits. I'm like, oh man, I gotta up my game. I gotta add a little bit of a story to my stuff. Like I like seriously, like thank you so much. But like you guys are kind of my biggest inspiration on a lot of my things.
That's the same way. I take such inspiration, and like it's also not like that we get like competitive or any way, but I see you guys like moving up with your content and stuff like that. And I'm like, I have to up my game too. I see you doing new stuff and I'm like, I want to try. Like when you got the lamp, the new lighting, I was like,
yeah.
I'll get a setup.
If you ever want to know what I use for my setup, let me know. Like that's one thing. Like I've had people DM me and they're like, I don't know if you're willing to share. I'm like, yes, I am willing to share. Like I'm not gonna gatekeep what I use. I do not care. Like I'd rather you like explore your creativity and like find like your own groove with like my experience than you be like trapped and you're like, I hate my videos, they're shitty. Like I'd rather everyone have like fun, good videos and good transitions.
I love when like followers start to realize that too. Like we're just people. I never expected anything like this to happen. I know you're the same, where we're just like, I just like creating stuff and I like trying new things, and it's just grown a little bit. And then people find out like, oh, you're willing to share, like, oh, you're like willing to talk and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I want to chat too.
I'm like, of course I'm willing to talk. And I think that's hard about it too, is like I'm an ex-theater kid. So like that's where a lot of it's that like ex-nerdy theater kid syndrome. And like I just wanted kind of an outlet. Like I was finishing up my final play and I had already kind of gotten into cosplay at that point. And I was like, this kind of like fulfills that like I need to be creative, I need to create thing. On the lines of like we're just people, I've been starting to notice this like culture of like, oh, I want to be mutuals with you. And like it's not like, oh, like I think your stuff is cool, I want to be mutuals with you. It's very much like when I become mutuals with you, I have fulfilled my goal. Or like I have made it. And I'm like, I'm a person. I should not be your creativity goal. I am literally so stupid. I need to start checking if I follow these people, because I've had moments where like I'll like comment and they're like, oh my God, thank you so much for commenting. I love your content. And I'm like, I thought we were mutuals. And I go look and I'm like, oh no.
I see their stuff all the time, so I just assume that I've been following them.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one in this.
No, you're not. Definitely not. As an ex-theater kid, I was in the background. I was not on the stage, but I was in the back. And so I definitely can see that you were an ex-theater kid in your content. Like the way that you play with different things, your props, the lighting, the composition and stuff like that. I can see it. And I love it so much. And I know your followers adore it as well. Do you think that you've kind of gotten into like a specialty or a niche space as of late?
I'm gonna say yes and no. Okay. Because like I have, but I really want to play with more of like the storytelling aspect. Like we've kind of seen with like, it's definitely with my Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen stuff, because they're my favorites. They're my favorite children. And I've read both like an obscene amount of times that I know the stories like inside and out, so I can then turn around and make like a kind of a mini synopsis of it, like with my Chainsaw Man like TV video. Yes. And stuff like that. Like I really like putting like a mini story together within my TikTok and kind of being more like movie-ish with it, almost like putting more like cinematography into it, which is kind of what I'm starting to play with, is like you said, like lighting and like I'm trying to figure out angles and like all that stuff, because like I love my transition videos. Transitions are so fun. Like we all know I have sexy transitions. Kind of my thing a little bit.
You do.
But I really want to add more of like depth to my to a lot of my more of my videos. Like I have some now, they just take more time, obviously, because like more goes into it, and that's kind of like with everything I've done, like I keep looking at it. I'm like, okay, how can I like add to this? How can I grow from this? How can I like continue to move like upwards, or like kind of, it's like I'm like playing a game of one-upping myself, which can be done healthily and needs to be done healthily. And that's what I'm kind of like grappling with right now, is like finding this balance between like the style I have now and then kind of adding more longer storytelling aspect-esque videos in. And it's mainly with Chainsaw Man because I have like, oh, I don't even want to say, I've done like 8 or 9 Chainsaw Man cosplays.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 3 more Chainsaw Man wigs.
Nice. Yes.
So like I can play with the storytelling aspect because I can be multiple characters. That takes a shit ton of time.
You have to basically like storyboard a TikTok.
I have a video that I've literally like, I need to finish it because, spoiler alert, I'm gonna cosplay Denji in it. And like, yeah, I have Denji's wig. He's like the big one. I need. She's knocking figures over. Hey. But I need for Denji, I need to get a binder because I'm gonna go like full mask. And I'm like nervous to get a binder because the last thing I need is a gender crisis. I'll be like, oh, they're optional now. Wait a minute. So with Denji, this like video I have, it kind of explores that like story between like Denji and Makima. And I actually already like, I'm lazy. And I used some of the footage in that like TV video. No, I'm not lazy, I'm resourceful. I blocked out like with little sticky notes. I should find the photo and I should send it to you because it's like if someone reads it and they don't, I shouldn't send it to you because it's got Chainsaw Man spoilers. But if someone read it and they didn't read Chainsaw Man, they'd be like, this person's a psychopath. Why did they write this down with timestamps on like I literally like had to block it out like each song. Like I sat and I listened to the song over and over again. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, this part can go here, this part can go there, perfect. Okay, then we'll do a little flashback. And I'm like, oh my god.
And that's the funny part, is because we put a lot of effort into such short videos, and it comes, TikTok itself, if you primarily use TikTok or Reels, you already have a time constraint. So you're putting all of this effort and creativity and thought process into sometimes a less than 15-second video. And then if you have shorter videos, the algorithm likes shorter videos even more. So if you have longer videos, the longer ones that you maybe put even more time into and thought into to give a full story don't always get the push they deserve. Whereas the shorter videos, you want to get it into the shortest amount of time possible because the algorithm likes that and you want people to see it. Not necessarily because you want views and likes and stuff like that, but more so because I put effort into this and I want people to see it. I want people to appreciate it. It's going to get to somebody that's going to be like, oh my gosh.
Like, I don't care about views and like likes and stuff, but it sucks when you like put your heart and soul into something and then TikTok's just like, not even your followers will see it. You won't even hit that like 10% range you're supposed to hit. And I'm like, how the fuck am I going? I don't even know if I'm allowed to swear. I'm so sorry.
You are allowed to swear.
Great. Okay, shit. Awesome. I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to like I literally went from like this like fun like 5-second transition video. Everyone's like, wow, fantastic character. I want to see more. I'm so excited. And then I like pop out this like low key, like fancy video. And then TikTok's like, it's too long and you uploaded it. So we're just not going to push it. We're going to put it like 200 views.
The upload is so annoying to me. It limits so much creativity in my eyes because like, so many people were creating such beautiful masterpieces. And then the minute that you just do it in a different app, they punish you for it. It gives, at least for me, it's given me the opportunity to think, you know, even if it doesn't do phenomenal, not that I care about likes or views or anything like that either, but again, I want somebody to see it, or pushes you to expand your into shorts, YouTube shorts or Instagram reels and stuff like that. It pushes you out a little bit more.
I do enjoy reels because I can just upload and I'm not gonna like, I know at least a decent amount of my followers are gonna see it.
Yeah. And also with Instagram, you can manually like advertise yourself with your stories. And like me personally, I watch stories. Like when I go on Instagram, I'll scroll for a little bit, but I mostly am watching stories because that's where I'm going to see the people that I follow. So it's like a free advertisement that you have right there. So you can push your own reel.
Instagram stories is like the one good thing about Instagram. Like that, like the way it's running right now, and like the way a lot of like us as content creators are utilizing it.
It's so good. You get to advertise, like push your friends' content to your viewers so beautifully and so easily. Like it's exactly what I wanted for so long. Like the way that they have it now, I'm able to like support my friends in the simplest way possible that does so much.
And then I love, like you said, like watching the stories because like everyone's story always has like cool shit on it. Like no one has a boring story. Everyone's stories are like dope as fuck. Like I'll go through, I find like a new person every day on Instagram just because of how the stories things work. And it's like, oh, they're really cool. I'm so glad that like this person shared it. Like,
you get a good mix between like your friends, like actual lives and like the stuff that they want to share and the people that they also want to promote and their other friends that you might have not connected yet with yet. And it's like I just love it so much. And that and Twitter, just phenomenal at connecting people right now, at least for me.
Twitter, we love Twitter. Find me on Twitter where I'm my true self.
Yes.
If you don't follow me on all platforms, you're missing out. Like it sounds weird, but like I know that's with a lot of content creators now. Like if you're not following us on every single platform, you're missing out on content. Like a lot of cosplayers have started doing like progress like threads on Twitter or like teasing cosplays and stuff like that, or like with your like One Piece thread. I live for your One Piece thread. It's a great way to like connect with like creators on like a more personal level. You're able to like kind of see content creators in different lights and kind of see like them explore different forms of media, especially with Instagram, like with photos. Because it's one thing to do a video, it is another thing to take a photo. It's a pain in the ass. That was the one thing that really like kind of tripped me up, was like learning how to take pictures of myself, just because like sometimes I don't like my face. I like my face in video because I know that I'm controlling my facial features the entire time. For the photo, it's literally you get one. That's it.
Yeah.
If you fuck up, you fuck up. Like, and then I was just like, okay, I have to suck it up. I have to suck it up, and I have to do self-timer and pose myself. And I talked about that on my stories a little bit on Instagram, where it's like, and back to that like behind the scenes, like it takes time. Every photo I post probably has like 5 or 6 rejected versions of that photo at a slightly different angle. Yeah. It takes a shit ton of time.
You can't help but critique it a little bit more and more and more, because it's not just you. It's not just you in the photo. It's also the character that you're cosplaying. And you want to be true to them. And you're like, especially if you were like trying to mimic a pose that they do, because they're exactly how they're supposed to be. I like have a little bit too much shoulder or something like that. I'm just like, or my hair was just like not tossed over my shoulder the right way.
My head's like tilted at the stupidest angle, and I don't even realize it. I'm like looking at the camera like this, and I like go back and I look at the photo. I'm like, what the fuck? Why did I think this was good? It's kind of fun though, because I've become like more aware of like my body in like taking photos, like relative to the camera. God forbid I have to take a group photo though. I'm gonna hit like a random pose, and that's gonna See, I try not to do the peace signs unless like everyone's doing peace signs or it's like a cute little selfie. But like it's a
Mhm.
group photo and we're all in cosplay. I try my hardest to like throw like some sort of like character pose because I'm like,
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna be mad at myself if I look back at this photo and I'm like,
I don't think ahead of time to think of like what poses to do for them. So like even when I'm just taking photos at home, like if I have done a cosplay, I will go to take the photo. I'm like, what 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 do they do? I'm like, I've watched this, I've read this, I know this character inside and out, but what how do they
how
stand?
how do they stand? How do they stand? I am way better at taking photos of others than I am myself. Mainly, I think it's just because like that you have the eye, that creative eye, where it's like I know how like to position your body and make it look good. God forbid I have to do it myself. I'm very guilty of having like screenshots like out the ass on my phone. I have to delete them all the time. My storage is almost always full. I'd get to taking pictures and I'd be like, cool, I don't know what I'm doing. So I just started taking screenshots of like manga panels and like the anime. If this was a real person, I'd look like a stalker. So before I take photos, I'll like go through
Yeah.
and I'll like look at the screenshots and I'll be like, okay, they kind of stand like this more often. And I'm like,
That's smart.
yeah, it's smart, but it adds another step and it adds more time.
Another step. Yes, but that's because you put the time and effort into your content and it shows. It shows every single time you put something out.
I'm like, I'm blushing and kicking my feet right now.
Curling your hair. Just,
It's like,
oh my God,
thank you. Thank you.
So like with your community that you've built, or this online space that you built, is there anything that you want to like promote or uplift with this and into your followers?
A lot of things. I really want like younger individuals to be able to like look at my content and be like, oh hey, like if she can do it, I can do it kind of thing, you know, where it's like I want it to seem accessible to everyone. And like the more I get like fancy with my stuff, it kind of sucks because it's like it's technically it's becoming a skill set and like I'm totally willing to like talk to someone about it like if they DM me. But one, I can only answer so many DMs. But I really want people to realize that like cosplay and like cosplay's for everyone. Like doing makeups for everyone. Being a nerd is okay. Like in high school, like I was afraid to watch anime because I was like, people are gonna think I'm weird. Obviously, I don't care. Like I should have known. I was literally a Super Hulock fan. Even if you're like avoiding the one thing that you think is nerdy, you're probably already nerdy. Like it's okay to like enjoy things. You should never be shamed out of creating. I think like creating is like super important. I grew up like drawing, painting, and then like got into theater. Like I've always created, I've always loved creating. There's like something for everyone. And I think like I really hope that like my platform shows that to people. There is like so many different ways of like self-expression, and I want like especially like the younger audience I have on TikTok. I say younger, but it's like 18.
Yeah.
But still that's young. And like also that like it's never too late to start creating. Like it's never too like just do it. That's kind of like what I've been saying to a lot of people. They're like, oh, like I want to get into cosplay. And I'm like, I literally just cut them off and I'm like, just do it. And they're like, what? I'm like, I know a butt is coming because you're insecure. Just do it. I have a lot of people who are like, oh, I want to cosplay, but like I'm not really sure if like my body is like the right fit for it. I should start working out. And I'm like, just do it. I also thought my body wasn't the right fit for it just because of like my own insecurities. Anybody can cosplay. You do not have to have rock hard abs, like a absolutely banging bod to cosplay. Like
Yeah.
I love watching people express themselves. That's the thing too, is like if you're happy doing it, I can tell. And I love it.
I totally agree. And I love that. Everyone starts out at the same level. You're just like kind of I wonder if I can do this kind of thing. And then, but as you grow, you are able to, you see what works for you and what's different and stuff like that. The only difference between us and somebody starting now is time. Literally, we've just been in this space for longer. We've been exposed to different people that they haven't been yet. So we might have just gotten inspired from people that they just haven't interacted with just yet. They might get a tip that like we just never had, but we found it in some other way or something like that. We found our own way. I love that. And I think you're doing, Toki, a wonderful job in doing that. And I can't wait to see you continue to explore your creativity with your content and just everything that's going to come. The Chainsaw Man anime is coming, and we're already so well fed with just the manga, and the part 2 just started. So, oh my goodness.
Can I go off a little bit about Chainsaw Man a little more?
You absolutely can.
Part 2, it hit, I think, over 1 million views in 12 hours. That's sexy as fuck. There is going to be a new official trailer for Chainsaw Man coming out.
Just take one look at your anything. You're like, Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer. That's Kai.
One Piece.
One Piece. So much. Oh my god, your crocodile, by the way. I still think about it.
I have ideas for a revamped crocodile, and it may or may not have something to do with that corset vest I have.
I'm gonna bark. I hope you know.
Of course. Only people who have permission to bark at me are my mutuals / friends. Unless it's a Makima post, then I'm like, okay, haha, funny.
You have comfort with those people.
You
have you allow that. And
yeah.
if they know your boundaries. And I think that is a huge part of being a creator as well. Knowing boundaries.
That is a big one, and that is hard because I have a lot of I've had experience with a lot of male mutuals crossing that boundary. It's one thing when my non-binary and femme presenting individuals comment those things, because it's it's the punching up, punching down type thing where it's we're all kind of in that space of we've all definitely been objectified before. I haven't had it happen in forever. I the male mutuals I have now. I love you all. This is not about you. Please don't freak out. But I've had situations where I had a few male mutuals try to have those comments, and I'm like, I know that you're trying to joke around right now, but
read the room.
You got to read the room. You got to see who's commenting those things and build rapport with me before you can make those comments.
Becoming a mutual with somebody is different than becoming friends with somebody. Even in that mutual or friendship relationship, you have to learn how you interact with each other, especially online.
Yeah, it's hard because the other thing too is I'm feral as shit on the internet.
Same.
Because I like to laugh. I make myself laugh every day.
Yes.
But in person, if I don't talk to you every single day, on any platform, literally the people I talk to on Twitter, I know that if I meet up with them in person, it's gonna be fine. I'll be fine. But I have social anxiety. So if I don't talk to a person all the time or interact with them all the time, if we meet in person at a convention, I'm probably gonna be on the quieter side, which can come off as bitchy.
I have that same issue.
I don't want to seem hostile towards someone I enjoy. It's just I don't know them.
Yeah.
So
I haven't built that rapport. I don't know exactly how to interact with you. And you don't want to cross a boundary. So you're I'm better to stay quiet and observe how we're going to interact than just assume.
Yeah, because I don't want to come out and be yeah, my loud crazy self, and then them be super taken aback because they're also anxious. I'm trying to respect, there's finding that balance between the online persona versus the in real life persona.
Yes, I understand that completely.
Social media is interesting.
Where can people find you on the internet?
They can find me everywhere. You can find me at Instagram and TikTok and YouTube at kylmars, KYLMARS. And then Twitter, it's Kyle MF Mars, so KYLMF and then MARS. Or you could just literally find me on any platform, click the link in my bio, and then you'll find where I am everywhere.
Thank you again. I really appreciate you and I appreciate your content. I just love you so much. I adore you.
I appreciate you too. I love you so much.
Thank you all for tuning into our first episode of Fandom Friends, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.